All right, let's talk about Serbia. For a lot of investors, this country is popping up on the radar as one of Europe's hottest spots. It's got this dynamic, rising economy, but as we're about to see, it plays by its own set of rules. So let's get into it.
First, just look at this number, almost 80%. So what is that? Well, that's the insane price jump for a brand new apartment on the outskirts of Belgrade, Serbia's capital. And listen to this, that happened in just over a single year. Yeah, numbers like that are exactly why everyone is starting to pay very close attention.
But, it's never quite that easy, is it? Behind those big, splashy headlines, there's always a more complicated picture. The real question isn't if there's potential, but what does it actually take to get to it? How do you navigate the local scene and avoid the hidden traps?
So here's our game plan. First, we'll ask why Serbia is being called Europe's hidden gem. Then we'll get right into that booming Belgrade real estate market. After that, and this is the important part, we're going to tackle the biggest challenge, the legal maze. And then, of course, we'll talk about the solution, the value of a good guide and how you can unlock your own Serbian investment.
Okay, first things first, what is putting Serbia on the map for so many people right now? Let's take a quick look at the core advantages that make it look so good on paper.
It really boils down to a powerful mix. I mean, you've got a killer location right at the crossroads of Europe. Energy costs are low, which is a huge deal. You've got competitive wages for a really skilled workforce, and then there's the tax situation. Super friendly, just 15% on corporate profits and 10% personal. All this is creating massive opportunities in real estate, farming, and industry.
Okay, now let's zoom in on the sector that's making all the noise, the one that gave us that wild 80% growth number, real estate in the capital city, Belgrade.
So what's going on here? Well, Belgrade isn't just some random city. It's the biggest in the entire Balkans. We're talking 2 million people, and it's still growing, with more folks moving in all the time. All those people need a place to live, and that creates this relentless demand for housing that's just pushing the market up and up.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. You can't just throw a dart at a map of Belgrade. Yes, the outskirts exploded, but look at the city center. Some parts, like Vračar, also saw huge gains. But then you have a neighborhood like Palilula where prices actually went down. This proves one thing. You absolutely have to know exactly where you're putting your money.
And hey, it's not just about buying and flipping for a quick profit. The cash flow potential here is really solid too. The average rental yield in Belgrade is sitting at a very healthy 6.35%. That's way better than in Serbia's second largest city, Novi Sad, which makes Belgrade a really attractive place for buy and hold investors.
And here is another massive, massive advantage, especially if you're a developer: speed. In Serbia, you can get a building permit in as little as a month. Compare that to somewhere like the Czech Republic, where you're waiting around for 3 times as long. I mean, it's a simple formula. Faster construction means a faster return on your investment.
Okay, the opportunity is obvious. The numbers are incredible. But this is where our story takes a really important turn. Because while the prize is huge, the path to get there is different, very different from what you're probably used to. And this is where the real work begins.
So if you remember one thing, remember this: you cannot just show up and assume business is done the way it is back home. It's not. The Serbian system has its own unique procedures, its own rhythm, and a ton of red tape. The process is just different. And if you don't understand these local quirks, a simple investment can get very messy very fast.
So let's just walk through the process of buying a property. Step 1, sign the contract. Step 2, the notary puts a seal on it. Standard stuff. But hold on. Look closely at step 3. The buyer pays the full price to the seller before step 4, which is when the property is officially transferred. Think about that. You pay every last cent before you are legally the owner. That's a huge risk.
And this wild step actually has a name. It's called the clausuli in tabulante. It's a standard clause in their property contracts that makes this whole pay before you own thing official. For an outsider, this is a major red flag. If you don't have an experienced international attorney structuring the deal to protect you, all the risk is sitting right on your shoulders.
And the fun doesn't stop there. You're also dealing with ghosts from the past. You'll see terms like starovlasništva, which are basically legal leftovers from the socialist era. These are old, tangled ownership structures that can pop up and make getting a clean, clear title a total nightmare. It's a landmine you'd never see coming without deep local expertise.
And as you can see, the list goes on. On top of the bureaucracy, you'll find weird practices, like contracts that make the buyer pay the seller's tax liability. And the systems themselves can be shaky. Get this, a while back, a hacker attack completely shut down the tax authority for months. Imagine your deal getting stuck in limbo because of something like that.
So we've laid out the opportunity, and we've laid out all the complexity. This brings us to the most important part. How do you actually do this successfully? Well, the answer is simple. You need an experienced guide, someone like an international attorney who gets both your world and the world on the ground in Serbia. And the advantage of having that person in your corner is just huge. They speak the languages, they know the local laws, and just as importantly, the local customs. They can cut through the red tape, they know to hunt for those historical title issues we talked about, and they can run the whole show for you, from start to finish, making sure you're protected the entire time.
And this kind of expert help isn't one size fits all. Maybe you just need someone to advise you on the process and point you to the right people. Or maybe you want the full turnkey service, where someone with power of attorney handles literally everything for you. The legal checks, the negotiations, even signing the contracts.
All right, let's wrap this up by taking a step back and seeing how all of this comes together to unlock the full potential of the Serbian market. Not just in real estate, but across the board.
Because look, while property gets all the headlines, the opportunities here are so much bigger. Serbia is the #1 exporter of frozen fruit to the EU. Agriculture is a massive deal here. And think about manufacturing. Costs can be 30 to 50% lower than in an EU country like the Czech Republic. But, of course, all those same legal complexities apply there too, making that expert guidance just as critical.
So the key here is that winning in a market like Serbia means having comprehensive A to Z support. The smart investors are the ones who have a team that can guide them through every single step, from the first bit of research all the way to managing their assets long-term.
Ultimately, you're looking for a partner whose whole philosophy is this: your investment is our responsibility. That mindset is what turns all that complexity we talked about into clarity and turns risk into real reward.
So, we'll leave you with this thought. You've seen the incredible opportunity that a place like Serbia offers, but you've also seen the unique, complicated maze you have to run to get to it. The difference between a huge success and a costly failure often boils down to just one thing: having the right guide by your side. So the real question is, are you ready to take that step?